Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to take just one single source, an Amazon product page, and really tear it apart to see what story it's actually telling. So, no big research paper, no news article this time. Nope, we are diving headfirst into an Amazon page to find that story that's kind of hiding in plain sight, right? The one that lives somewhere between the slick marketing, the nerdy tech specs, and, most importantly, what real people have to say about it. And our subject for today? It's one of the most popular entry-level racing wheels out there. I mean, this is a product that thousands of gamers and wannabe sim racers have probably had in their shopping cart at some point. So let's start peeling back those layers, and we'll begin with the official story from Logitech itself. All right, first up, the manufacturer's story. This is the big promise, right? This is what Logitech wants you to feel when you click buy. And just listen to the words they use here. Realistically simulates, hand-stitched leather, stainless steel. See, these aren't just features on a list. They're trying to sell you a feeling. They're not just promising a controller. They're promising you an authentic, durable, real piece of racing gear. Okay, so that's the dream they're selling, but how do they actually pull it off? Let's get past all that marketing fluff and dig into the tech. The stuff that actually makes this wheel go vroom. So the product page basically breaks it down into 4 key pillars. It all kicks off with this dual motor force feedback. That's what's supposed to give you that realistic feel. But what's really interesting here are the helical gears. Just picture gears with angled teeth instead of straight ones. They're designed to mesh together way more smoothly and quietly. None of that clunky, grinding noise you might get from older, cheaper wheels. But let's back up. What even is force feedback? Honestly, it's the most important thing here. It's the magic sauce that makes it feel real. It's what lets you feel the bumps on the track, that scary moment your tires lose grip, or the sheer weight of the car when you dive into a corner. Without force feedback, you're basically just turning a fancy plastic circle. It's a total game changer. Okay, so that's the promise and the tech behind it. But what happens when the rubber actually meets the virtual road? For that answer, we gotta turn to the real experts, the people who've already spent their own money on this thing. Yep, it's time for a reality check from the user reviews. And wow, at first glance, people love it. I mean, 75% 5-star reviews, that's huge. But you know as well as I do, the star rating is just the headline. The real story, the juicy details, are buried in what people are actually writing. So let's take a look at Margot's 5-star review. She says the experience is incredibly realistic and a great value. Basically that it punches way above its weight class. For her, it seems like Logitech totally nailed it. The promise they made, delivered. And then you get a review like this one, which is just brilliant because it shows you the nuance. It's also a 5-star review, but this person is quick to point out the compromises. The wheel is kind of small, the paddle shifters feel mushy, so it's fantastic, but it's not perfect. And they get that you're making a trade-off for the price. And this feeling from this review by Don Jonald, you see this again and again. It really nails the G29's whole deal. It's not trying to be some pro-level $1,000 rig. No, its job is to be the perfect first step for someone who wants a massive, massive upgrade from just using a regular controller. And that brings us to the really crucial point here. This thing lives in that delicate balance between price and performance. And there's this one 4-star review from a guy named Matt that just breaks it all down perfectly. Because he doesn't just look at the G29, he looks at its competition too. Matt just gets right to the heart of it. He's like, look, it's a huge step up from a controller, no doubt. But he also says the gear system for the force feedback can feel a little notchy, maybe a bit loud, and definitely weaker than the super expensive wheels that use a belt system. And boom, right there, that's the G29's main technical trade-off.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This is the key trade-off he points out. The G29, yeah, its feedback is a bit weaker, but it's consistent, it's reliable, it always shows up. Then you look at a big competitor, the Thrustmaster T300. It's stronger, it's smoother, but it can overheat. And when it does, you can lose almost all of that force feedback. So it poses a great question. What do you want? peak performance that might disappear or good performance that's always there.
And the whole value thing gets even clearer when Matt looks at Logitech's other wheels. He points out that the newer G923 model, the next one up, it can cost over $100 more. And for that extra cash, he argues you're just not getting $100 worth of extra immersion. So for him, the G29 is still the undisputed king of value for money.
Okay, so we've seen the marketing hype, we've peeked under the hood at the tech, and we've heard the good, the bad, and the mushy from actual users. So what's the final verdict? What's the one single story this Amazon page is telling us? When you put all the pieces together, a really clear picture comes into focus. The G29 is, without a doubt, a fantastic starter wheel. It gives you a reliable, fun, and pretty immersive experience, even if it can't quite match that buttery smooth feeling you get from gear that costs a fortune. Really, its greatest strength is that perfect balance it strikes. So is it a perfect pro-level racing simulator, or is it just a really high-end toy? Well, the answer from the page seems to be, it's kind of both. It's probably the best high-end toy you can buy, one that does an amazing job of bridging that gap into real simulation. And for the money, being able to be both of those things at once, that's its secret weapon.
And really, that's the big question this whole page leaves you with, isn't it? As this tech just keeps blurring the line between a game and reality, how much are we willing to pay for the perfect illusion? The G29 offers a really convincing illusion for a pretty good price. More expensive stuff offers a better one, but for a way higher cost. It really makes you think about where that line is for you. Thanks for tuning in.